Welcome in to the Armchair Illini Podcast. My name is Austin Burklund, and I'm so excited that you made us a part of your day. Illinois 1-0, out-rebounded Jackson State 61-19. What a win that was. What a great first impression it was for the likes of David Murkovic. And then Tomislav Ivicic also was great. And then the return of Ben Humrickhouse, also phenomenal. But we have a bigger game coming up next week, and that is against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And I'm so excited to have RC Maxfield. He's the host of the Red and Black Report. But before we get to him, Illini fans, the Armchair Illini Podcast is fired up to team with Hamilton Walker's Seafood and Spirits, hands down the best dining experience in Champaign-Urbana. We're talking prime steaks, fresh seafood, and a vibe that's perfect after a big Illini win. And here's the game changer. Every single home game, we're giving away a $100 Hamilton Walker's gift card on our social media. That's right, dinner on Armchair Illini. All you got to do is follow Armchair Illini and Hamilton Walker's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to get in on the action and experience Hamilton Walker's, where Champaign-Urbana comes to celebrate. RC Maxfield, again, the host of the Red and Black Report, talking all things Texas Tech ahead of this top 25 matchup. So, RC, what were the expectations going into this season, and what is the expectation going into the season? We've only played one game. It's not like we're halfway through the season. So what are the expectations for this group of Red Raiders?
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, appreciate you having me on, man. It's always fun to get a peek behind the curtain for some of these big time matchups. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Game one was on Tuesday, November 4th for us. And it was kind of weird. You didn't have the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year in JT Toppin play. He sat out. You didn't have the prize transfer in Lawan Watts, who's kind of the replacement for Darion Williams, who has since moved on to play for Will Wade at NC State. Didn't have Luke Bamboye. You were missing probably three of your top five players. But luckily you were playing Lindenwood. No shade to Lindenwood. But you also had a guy named Christian Anderson, who, for those that don't know, that he may be a lottery pick in next year's NBA draft. But, for expectations wise, it's Final Four, man. It's one of those deals where I know a lot of people probably don't remember exactly what happened to Texas Tech last year, but you were up 10 points on the eventual national champions with about 3 minutes to go in the Elite Eight. And you had a chance to potentially go play in the Final Four in your home state down in San Antonio. Unfortunately, Walter Clayton happened. I'll never forgive him and hate the Florida Gators immensely now. But overall, you bring back two of arguably the most impactful players in the Big 12. The aforementioned JT Toppin, who won Big 12 Player of the Year last year. Obviously, the Big 12 preseason Player of the Year this year. And then maybe outside of, Darian Peterson at KU, maybe the best guard in the Big 12 as well, and Christian Anderson. So you have a lot of talent. You have Grant McCaslin, who is one of the best coaches in all of college basketball. So the expectations are through the roof. I mean, I'm always one to say, hey, let's, say you can make the second weekend because, as y'all know, in Champaign too, like a bounce here and there doesn't go your way. And unfortunately, your NCAA tournament dreams are ruined, right? So, but they're more than capable of making a Final Four and potentially cutting down the nets up in Indianapolis.
So let's talk about Grant McCaslin for a little bit. Came from North Texas, NIT champions right before he took the Red Raiders job. Made it to the NCAA tournament his first year, third in the Big 12, and then second in the Big 12 last year. What has made him successful from that transition to North Texas to Texas Tech?
Adaptability. You go look at what Grant McCaslin did best at North Texas, and I don't know what kind of basketball you enjoy, but you won't enjoy that kind. It was a slugfest, disgustingly slow, first 1 to 60 type wins type stuff. And he adapted at Texas Tech. Defense is still his, number one focus, but you go and look what they did in the portal, I think in the first wave of him being there at Texas Tech. And you go get Darion Williams, who was and still is one of the best players in all of college basketball, obviously now at NC State. But that kind of set the tone, the foundation for what they wanted to do. You go out and you really pinpoint guys that specifically this year in the portal that can be absolute snipers on the outside, whether that's Tyree Bryan, Donovan Atwell. They're mid-major guys, but if you go to Synergy, They rank in the 80th percentile in terms of defense. So that was one thing that Texas Tech was lacking. But they really have adapted under Grant McCaslin, where him as a coach really still predicates himself on the defensive end, but he hired a guy named Jeff Linder. He was the head coach up at Wyoming. They've been best friends, him and Grant McCaslin, since his days in JUCO out in West Texas at Midland College. And Jeff Linder's an offensive wizard. So it's kind of that nice balance of Grant McCaslin's the defensive guy, rah, get in your face, get down on the floor, get dirty. Jeff Linder's the guy that develops guards damn near better than anybody else in the country. So you have that nice offensive defensive balance. They want to be physical on the defensive end, specifically on the perimeter, and then they're athletic down low. But they're going to shoot the lights out. Well, let me rephrase that. They're going to at least try to shoot the lights out against you every night. I mean, last night they started out 2 for 7 for 3 against Lindenwood, and then ended up shooting about, like, I think 40% from 3. And it was, again, you didn't have 3 of your top 5 players. And I believe 4 of your players that played last night in the 8-man rotation had not played a single minute in college basketball. Again, it's Lindenwood. I get it. We're not talking about Illinois, but it's like one of those deals where there's depth, there's impactful depth, but the scheme is really what puts these guys in position to succeed. So long-winded way, he adapts to his roster really, really well, and he's done so again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. In college basketball, I feel like every team that has Final Four aspirations, unless you were Florida and whoever they played last night in that first matchup, you can always add the caveat, well, it was against Jackson State, well, it was against Lindenwood, because that's just the way scheduling works. But let's think of like what the weaknesses of this Texas Tech team could be. If this team doesn't make it as far as you anticipate, what would be that potential reason why it doesn't?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the down low side of things. I think, you go out and get a guy, Luke Bamboye, and, you don't have to love the guy, but Andy Katz said that he's the best defender in all college basketball. You don't have to like him. I understand. I don't like him sometimes either. But he did say that he was the best defender in all college basketball. And that was something that Texas Tech really needed to harp on. And it's kind of an experiment right now in the sense of you had Fetty 2 times, Federico. He's now at Texas A&M, who is, I don't mean this in a bad way, he was a finesse big, right, at the end of the day. And I think physicality is what could be the downfall for Texas Tech. That being said, they're a physical team. There's just more physical teams out there that are just as talented, if that makes sense. And I think that could end up being the downfall. That being said, they did go out and get some guys that helped them in that regard, but most of them were on the perimeter. It's still yet to be seen, though, exactly what that looks like from a interior defensive standpoint. As I mentioned, Luke Bamboye. JT Toppin's a better defender than people give him credit for because of just, you think JT Toppin and you're like, oh, he's going to drop 30 on me. Great. But it's one of those type of deals where I think if you're going to exploit this Texas Tech team and come tournament time, or shoot, even in Champaign, right? Like, it could be down low. I think that's probably where the biggest, like, okay, if you have size, you got a talented big, and you can get JT Toppin in foul trouble, all right, you're in a pretty good spot.
Let's talk about those stars, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin on this team. I know that JT might have some health issues going into this Illini game. Illinois has also some health issues going into this Texas Tech game. But what do they like to do well? What are their strengths? And what are they going to try to attack Illinois with?
Yeah. Nice thing is about JT, it sounds like he'll be back for this game. It was very precautionary missing game 1. Which is huge. Yet to be seen in terms of Lawan Watts, the star transfer, and then Luke Bamboye too. We'll see on them. But sounds like JT will be back. But from a JT Toppin perspective, it's more so like, what does he not do well at his position? Like, you got to get really nitpicky with him. I guess shoot the 3. Like, he'll still shoot 40%, but it'll be on limited attempts. But he's a guy that loves to get to his left shoulder. If you can get him away from his left hand, I think that's 90% of the battle. But he's crafty, specifically on the block. And I think that the thing that really stands out to me about JT Toppin and how Grant McCaslin, again, going back to that adaptability to your players, right? Like building around certain guys, he is a phenomenal passer. And I know some people will go watch that Houston game. I don't know if you remember that, where He got kicked out last year. Grant McCaslin got kicked out last year because of a terrible nut check call on a pass, but I digress. JT Toppin was passing the ball there. And that's just what he does. It's seemingly when you send that double, you either have made the most perfect decision of your life or good luck, they're going to make a three. Like there's no in between. And 90% of the time, it's the latter where they're making the three. So really good passer, better defender than I think people give him credit for. But if you get him out on the perimeter, you're a little physical with him. Okay, like you got a shot there. But I think that's where you have to attack if you're the Illini in this game is if you can get JT Toppin in foul trouble early, you're in a really good spot because Texas Tech can adapt. But again, you're not playing Lindenwood again if you're the Red Raiders, right? Like you're playing a legitimate Sweet 16 caliber team. And the Fighting Illini. In the Terrence Shannon Jr. game, I haven't mentioned that yet. Shout out to TSJ. Love that guy.
The Terrence Shannon Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Love him. And then the Christian Anderson side of things. I don't know how you are, but when I hear a coach in the preseason say, oh, this guy's gotten so much stronger. Oh, he grew a couple inches. I'm usually my BS meter is pretty far to the right in terms of like, oh, you're lying. You're lying, right? Like,
yeah, Brad Underwood once said that a player named Mark Smith reminded him of Jason Kidd, and that was before he played a game in Illinois. And I was like, okay. And then whenever that didn't work out, I was like, Brad, I'm going to take your word very, very small until I actually see it on the court.
Exactly, right? That's how I was too, because Grant McCaslin, like, I think it had to be like right when they were starting practice for the season. So like 6 weeks ago, he was like, hey, Christian Anderson is now 6'3". He put on like 20 pounds of muscle. And I was like, all right, dude, I just saw him playing in FIFA, under 19, the U19 over there where he played for Germany and got to play on the national team against Luka Doncic and dunk on him, which was obviously a cool moment. But he was not lying. Like Christian Anderson is a legitimate NBA guard right now. And y'all know something about seeing legit NBA guards, obviously, last year, right? Like they're not similar in the sense that obviously Christian Anderson's a little bit smaller. He's 6'3", but man, he gets to his spots whenever he wants. He dictates pace better really than any guard that I've seen at Texas Tech since Keenan Evans, who was on campus back in 2017. So he's such a sniper from the outside. He's an elite guy with his hands. You can get past him on the defensive end, but he's so active with his hands, he may make up for that misstep that he had in terms of, letting the guy get past him. Elite shooter from the outside, 40%. It's his team, and him and JT, again, I'm probably a little biased, and somebody will call me out in your comments, I'm sure. They probably make up, in my opinion, the best pick and roll duo in college basketball because they have that chemistry from last year, and that's what they do best is they understand spacing in the pick and roll, the pace of the pick and roll, just really where these guys need to go. They have that brain, meld, or mold, I should say, together. But again, their weaknesses, I think if they're being honest with you, they probably got a little better, but it's on the defensive end. And if you can get them in foul trouble early, I think that is a huge advantage for the Fighting Illini.
Where do you rank this Texas Tech team in terms of talent compared to previous Texas Tech teams, including last year's and maybe the national champion runner-up Texas Tech?
Oh, strictly talent, right? We don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
This is easily the most talented Texas Tech team in the last 25 years since Tony Battie was on campus, which was the mid-90s. And I'm sure you'll have seen the SI cover where, you're breaking the backboard type stuff against North Carolina. Easily. I mean, this is you don't every day have a guy in JT Toppin who was more than likely going to be a first-round NBA draft pick return. Yeah, a lot of that had to do with money, but we're in the NIL era, and everybody has the opportunity at it if you really want to. Same can be said about Christian Anderson, and the crazy part is this team could have been that much better if Darion Williams came back, but they replaced him with Lawan Watts. I think, again, I thought about this probably more than my wife cares to know. So please don't tell her. But yeah, I think this is probably the most talented team Texas Tech has had at least since the year 2000.
So say Illinois defensively stops Christian Anderson, say JT Toppin gets a little bit of his, not the National Player of the Year type of game, but has a decent game, but Illinois still loses.
Yeah.
Who would be the X factor or the dark horse player that you're like, this is the reason why Texas Tech still won this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if Lawan Watts plays, it's him. For those that don't know, he played with, oh my goodness, I forget his name, got drafted by Memphis. I think it's Coward up at Washington.
Yeah, Cedric
State.
Coward.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Last year, they were kind of that duo for 6 games, and then Cedric got hurt. That's probably the easy way out for me. So I'll say him in terms of the easier route. But in terms of the guy that maybe even Texas Tech fans are kind of maybe skeptical of, he had a rough night on night number 1. But Tyree Bryant is built like an elite pass rusher off the edge, shoots 42% from 3, can guard multiple positions, quick laterally, can make an impact in certain ways. Now, is he going to create his own shot? Probably not. But he is a guy that I think can, get in fuego from deep. And as you know, if a team gets hot from deep, that is the great equalizer. And for Texas Tech, it is abundantly true. They are going to jack up as close to as many as 35 threes in this game, I bet, because they love the pick and roll. They get inside, defense collapse. That leaves the guy on the perimeter. They're going to shoot that shot. They're not scared to do it. So if I'm taking the easy way out to your question, it's Lawan Watts. But further down the roster a little bit, struggled in game 1. Tyree Bryant is a guy that played at Santa Clara last year that I think can guard really 1 through 4, depending on how big your 4 is, can contain that, step out to the 3-point line and shoot north of 40% and still be strong enough to finish at the rim if you overcommit as well.
We'll get back to RC in a second, but the Armchair Illini Podcast is pumped to team up with Campus Inc.'s official Illinois NIL store. Get officially licensed gear from your favorite Illini stars, Luke Altmaier, Terrence Shannon Jr., former Illini and Texas Tech member, Kofi Coburn, and many former and current Illini. Support your favorite athletes and rep the orange and blue. Use code Armchair Illini for 15% off today. That's Armchair Illini for 15% off today. We're back with RC Maxfield, the host of the Red and Black Report, and as well, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Armchair Illini, and then armchairillini.com for all the best Illini written work. But RC, Texas Tech seems to be in a kind of a euphoria as of this moment, a college football playoff potential. You have this amazing basketball team, possible player of the year candidate nationally in JT Toppin. What's it like being a Texas Tech fan in this era of Texas Tech college athletics?
Man, I'm so glad you asked this question. I really am. Speaking of things I think about too much, it's the golden era, man. I mean, when I was at Texas Tech, we had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, so that was cool, right? But I'll save the cursing for my channel to help you out there. We were butt on the football field, okay? We were really bad. But we had Mahomes, and that was the thing, right? And then eventually you had Texas Tech men's basketball. You mentioned they went to the national title game a year prior, went to the Elite Eight. It's just the golden era. And again, a lot of it has to do with NIL, but I think a lot of people will say, oh, it only has to do with NIL. I don't think money is the only thing here. I think when you have to think about this, you have to have the resources, yes, but you have to have the proper people in place as well. And Texas Tech is just simpatico across the board, from, the highest level of the athletic department to the donors, to the coaches, whatever it may be. Like, they're just simpatico on the same road at the same time, like same vehicle, enjoying the same music, whatever analogy you want to use, right? I think that that's the biggest thing for Texas Tech right now. And I don't know when it's going to stop, man. Like, I just don't know. Like, obviously you can have a bad season here or there. Guys get injured, yada, yada, yada. But the level of investment, the right people being there, and it feels like it clicked at the right time for Texas Tech. And I mean, I'm going to the game, the BYU game this weekend, college game day, all that kind of stuff, right? And my brother-in-law is there right now camping out. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff. And I just literally told him, man, I'm so damn jealous because I never got to do that. The coolest football game I got to go to was when Baker Mayfield came back and no defense was played. I'm sure you've heard of that. That was a cool game, but And we got to camp out for College game day when Kansas was number 1 and Tech went to the Elite Eight that year. But man, it's just it's a fever dream, to be honest with you. I feel like it's pretty similar to you guys. Like I'm not completely familiar with y'all's football program, so excuse me if I'm too far off base here, but it feels like y'all are in a really good spot comparatively to where y'all have been. Basketball's got high expectations as well. Like y'all are legitimately good. Like if a bounce goes your way too, I'm not surprised if y'all are in Indianapolis for the Final Four, right? So it feels like y'all are in a pretty similar spot. Maybe football for us is obviously a little bit higher right now, but still vibes have to be high, right?
I mean, this is the golden era of Illini athletics. They
Yeah.
used to say the 1920s belonged to the Illini, but now it is
Every 100 years, baby.
Yeah, now it's the 2020s belong to the Illini because the Illini football program went from basically irrelevant to having that leadership in Brett Bielema. 10 wins last year, 9 wins potentially this year, which is 19 wins in 2 years. That's unbelievable. That would have been an entire decade of some coaches at Illinois football. And then you look at Illinois basketball, where you kind of uncovered what the magic was under Bill Self and kind of brought that into this modern era. And you talk about adaptability with Grant McCaslin, and that's what Brad Underwood's kind of brought in Champaign. You've had Kofi Coburn and that era of back to the basket post dominance, and in an era where you needed to, because you had guys like Zach Edey in Purdue, you had Luka Garza in Iowa, but then you also had the Ayo DeSumo era of a dominant point guard. You've had the booty ball era with Marcus Damask and having the Terrence Shannon Jr. Driving and fast breaks that he brought to the Illini, and that shooting that was underrated for him in his Illini uniform era. And now you have this European block coming in and just dominating Jackson State. Like, these guys are 22-year-old freshmen and 21-year-old sophomores coming in. And I mean, NIL has definitely helped even the playing field in football for us, because you do have like Larry Geese donated $100 million to the University of Illinois, and they renamed the stadium after him before the first game of the season. So this is definitely an era of Illini sports that, yes, you need the NIL money, but you also need to have that leadership. And Josh Whitman, the athletic director, has brought that. So I feel like Texas Tech and Illinois are kind of like siblings or cousins in this era of sports, where they're like, hey, Texas Tech and Illinois, things are possible, instead of just being like, well, it's Alabama in college football and it's Duke in college basketball, so everyone else get in line. Now it's like, no, we can potentially be in the front of the line at times. So it's definitely helped helped every team out there. And I think this is the golden era of all college sports, because every game can matter and every team can matter in a certain year.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, again, like, I don't like the shadiness of NIL with some of these agents and stuff like that, but get your bag, man. Like, capitalize on this stuff. Like, at the end of the day, right? Like, everybody has their windows. Let's get these guys paid. Let's do what's best for them and their families. Because at the end of the day, like, you and me are going to do the same thing, right? Like, we're going to do what's best for us, kind of deal. So as long as it's done right and everything like that, I think it's great for especially programs like ours, where you're 100% right. Where at the end of the day, historically, for the first 100 years, except for the 20s, the 1920s, don't want to forget that for you guys. Don't want to forget that. But for most of the past 100 years, I should say, it's been kind of like Texas Tech and Illinois are probably an afterthought on the gridiron. Like, they may have a good year, a little block here or there in basketball, you know what I mean? But now it's now it's full steam ahead, man. You got to make the right decisions, and that's why you got to have the right people, like we talked about, whether that's the coaching staff, AD, whatever it is, and donors, obviously. But I mean, it's great, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to see good sports. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the we're back moment for Illinois football was just even in the preseason, seeing people like Nicole Auerbach putting Illinois in the college football playoff projections, and you're like, what? Like, I never envisioned this in my life. And now Texas Tech gets to see the college football playoff projections and everything, and it's amazing. It makes it fun. It makes everything matter.
No, exactly, right? Like, I mean, I think I forget who the other teams were, but watching that last night, and I understand, truthfully, it means nothing, right? Like that initial college football rankings, it means nothing. But Tech was one of 5 teams that had never had their name shown in the top 25 of that. And I was like, man, we've come a long way. We've come a long way from giving up, 80 points to TCU to the point where they said we ran out of fireworks because they scored so many touchdowns on us. Like, we've come a long way here. So yeah, I mean, same can be said on the hardwood too. It's just, I mean, and truthfully, Tech has come a long way on the hardwood more so than football. But even this year, like they wouldn't have scheduled a game like this against Illinois in non-con. Just even like 4 years ago, they wouldn't have done it. And so now, you're playing meaningful non-con basketball games in one of the best places to play in college basketball, right? Up in Champaign, one of the most difficult places to play. And then, you play the likes of Arkansas and Dallas. You play Duke at Madison Square Garden. You play potentially the number 1 team in the country in Purdue in Bahamas here in a couple weeks if things go your way. So I think that's the big thing for Tech. And you're going to learn a lot about Texas Tech in this Illinois game because y'all present challenges that typically in the first 2 years of the Grant McCaslin era have not bode well for Texas Tech. That being said, this is the most talented team he's ever had. And that makes me feel irrationally confident in a lot of ways. And I'll be the first one to admit that.
What are some of those challenges?
Well, y'all are just big. I mean, that again, y'all are just the size aspect of it. And the maturity side of it too. I mean, Texas Tech has maturity as well. I mean, JT Toppin, Christian Anderson, they played valuable minutes in the tournament. But some of these guys that they brought in that maybe older haven't played in these big time type moments, right? Or relatively big type moments comparatively. Lawan Watts played at Washington State and was at Eastern Washington before that. He's never played in an environment like this in a meaningful game, right? Luke Bamboye transferred in from VCU. No shade to the Rams, but he ain't playing the Fighting Illini on a November Wednesday or whatnot, right? So, and same can be said about the guys like Tyree Bryan, Donovan Atwell, Christian Anderson, and JT Toppin have obviously played similar teams to this, and they played in the Big 12, so they know what it takes, and they're going to have to be the leadership aspect of this. But just the physicality side of it again, I think you nailed it in the sense of you have 21 and 22-year-old freshmen, sophomores. You got grown men. Like, you got grown men. You know what I mean? Like, these are people where if they have children, people aren't judging as much. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of thing. And, I think that's going to be a true test for Texas Tech. And I love it because this game is going to get them ready for, in my opinion, the most difficult league in America in the Big 12, night in and night out, because there are just, I mean, I don't know. You if you're taking who's going to have the National Player of the Year from a conference, it's probably the Big 12, right? Like, I get the Big 10 has Braden Smith, but you got AJ DeBansa, you got Peterson at KU, got JT Toppin. Those are 3 of the top 6 guys right there. So,
not to mention Arizona's guy who went off for 30.
I mean, I mean, it's loaded, and that's the thing, and why Grant McCaslin was so adamant about improving the non-con schedule is the fact that you're going to play grown men each and every night in the Big 12. Why not prepare for that in non-con? And Illinois is right up there with the toughest teams they'll play all year in terms of a physicality, grown men, well coached. I think that's something that's hasn't been talked about by me in this game. Like, hey, shout out to SFA for being a feeder program up there to Illinois. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
shout out Grant Walkup.
Yeah. What was that? Like a 1-year hiatus at Oklahoma State for him, right before he dipped?
Yeah, he coached Jawan Evans for
there
1 year
at
Oklahoma State, and then after that came to Illinois because the oil baron himself in Oklahoma State didn't want to give Underwood a raise, and Illinois was willing to pony up on use some of those Big Ten Network dollars.
Good old Boone Pickens, man. Where's Oklahoma State now in football? Poverty. That's where they're at. But yeah,
basketball lost to Southern Illinois University a few years back.
Yeah, dude, it's rough times in Stillwater. It's rough times. Y'all are the better orange anyway. But yeah, like it's just I'm really interested to see this matchup, like because truthfully, the crowd too. I want to see how these guys just react to it. I know how JT is going to react to it. I know how Christian Anderson is going to react to it. It's the other guys, and it's kind of just like for y'all, like why the matchup I think is so interesting for you guys is I don't know your viewpoint on Texas Tech, but I mean they're legit Final Four team, right? Like this is a true test for you guys early.
I think we want to see, as Illinois fans, how the defense looks against top tier athletes in Anderson and in Toppin. And I think that'll say a lot of what we're going to look like against some of those teams in the Big Ten. I'm looking at you, Michigan, Purdue, not the most athletic team in the world, so that's mostly just going to be a chess match of fundamentals, essentially. But looking at the likes of the UCLA and Michigan, if we can handle Texas Tech's athleticism, then I'm like, all right, maybe we can handle the entire conference's athleticism. So that's kind of where we want to see as a barometer test for the Illini.
Yeah, and Texas Tech has got some athletes. They're not. We ain't got nobody like Terrence Shannon Jr. Again, love that guy. But they've got some athletes on the outside, and I think really a big test for Illinois too in this game could just be like, how do they match up with all the shooting Texas Tech has? I know y'all can shoot too, but how does that work on each side of the floor? Like who shoots better? I think may just be specifically from three. Like that team probably ends up winning the game. I know that that's not rocket science, but with two good shooting teams, I think that might be like the thing that probably pushes it over the edge for one team or another.
Two more for you, RC. So the first one is, how does Texas Tech and the fans like being in the Big 12 as it currently stands? Do they like the new additions of the Arizonas and the UCFs, or what are the thought processes of being in this Big 12 conference?
Yeah, everybody hates Utah. They're a bunch of, again, I'll spare you the words, but everybody hates Utah. They want to be Texas so bad, and they're just not. But I digress. I think overall, it's really interesting how not even a full year of football can change. I don't want to say an entire fan base's perspective, but a pretty sizable portion of it. I've noticed, again, like just in my YouTube comments, over on Twitter, whatever it may be, right? Texas Tech fans, and maybe it's because they took away our tortillas. And Brett Yormark.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Be better. Just be better. You don't have to worry about it on the basketball floor, but you took away our tortillas. And some steps are just too far, sir. We care about our corn in West Texas, specifically masa. But, like, I've never seen a fan base think to themselves, like, all right, when are we getting to the Big Ten? When are we getting to the SEC? Because, like, this athletic program as a whole, athletic department, I should say, as a whole, it's at its peak right now. And it can go higher, but it's at its peak in terms of what we know in history. Like, we talked about football already. We talked about basketball. I mean, I get it. It's softball. Not everybody cares. But you're paying a softball pitcher $1 million, okay? You played for a national title last year. Like, this is not your normal athletic department at Texas Tech. Your track team is nationally relevant, right? Like, you have so many great athletes on campus, and again, not the whole fan base or anything like that. I think that would be too far. But a bigger portion than I thought would be, this far into a relatively successful football season, is like, hey, when are we going to the Big Ten? When are we going to the SEC? But I think a large portion of that has to do, again, don't take away a man's tortillas. Don't do that. You can't do that. But yeah, I think right now we're in a good spot. Obviously, winning a Big 12 title would be great, but I think my biggest qualm with the Big 12 too is, and y'all see it in the Big 10 as well, like, what the hell are we doing traveling to Orlando, Florida on a Tuesday? Right? Like, why are you traveling to LA on a Wednesday to play a basketball game? What are we doing here? Like, I get it. It's dollars. I understand. But like, why are we taking what made college basketball and college football and like the sanctity of it away, in the sense of I can go to work And I more than likely know I'm going to get to talk trash to a TCU fan. Like, I should play them every year, right? For you guys, it's like you can go to work. I want to talk trash to Indiana, or I want to talk trash to Michigan, whoever it is, right? Like, you don't get that as much anymore because you probably don't get to play them every year. And that just borderline sucks. So I think that's just my spiel overall in terms of realignment. But overall, Tech fans, it is what it is. We're in the Big 12. We know we're in the third best conference. Like, it's cool. It's just the easiest way. It's like, it's all right. Whatever.
So last question for you. Are Tech fans, are they all Kansas City Chiefs fans?
Oh, great question.
Texas fans? Like, are they Texans fans, Cowboys fans? Like, how did that work whenever Mahomes went off? Like, my family lives in Kansas City, so
Sure.
I get a front door step to that, even with my Eagles fandom.
Yeah.
That kind of sucked a couple of years ago, but we got our revenge. But has Mahomes just infiltrated Lubbock to where everybody is just rolling out with the Chiefs gear on Sundays?
Oh, facts. Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like he's going to be the game day picker at game day.
Oh, wow.
So he'll be in love, and so will Andy Reid, because Andy Reid's a BYU alum, so that's kind of fun. Yeah, man, I think it's like, it kind of depends on where you're from, right? So Tech is this school where you got a ton of kids from Houston, you got a ton of kids from Dallas, so you probably have some Texans and Cowboys fans. I would say a vast majority are Cowboys fans. But Lubbock locals specifically, yeah, man, they're all Chiefs fans now. Like, they may watch the Cowboys, right? But at the end of the day, they're like, what Pat do? You know? Like,
Yeah.
You know, what Pat do? That's all that really matters. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm the weirdo in my friend group. Like, so I grew up my formative years in Arkansas, right by the University of Arkansas. And so I lived in like Bermuda Triangle, where you got to pick your favorite NFL team. If not, my 9-year-old self would have known I was going to Texas Tech and Patrick Mahomes would have existed. I'm obviously picking the Chiefs, right? But I can't see the future. I'm not that so Raven. But I'm a Titans fan. And so, first of all, we accept all apologies. We suck.
Thank you for AJ Brown, by the way.
Yeah. Listen, it's been great talking to you. I'm going to have to head out. No, but seriously, I catch myself where I'm like, man, I really want the Titans to be good, but I know if the Titans are good, they're going to have to face Patrick Mahomes. And I'm just like, man, I don't know what to do here. Like, perfect example. What was that? 2019? I guess it was 2020, right before COVID, when he won his first Super Bowl. We played the AFC title game, the Titans and the Chiefs. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, like, I obviously want the Titans to win, but I wouldn't be upset if they lost here. I wouldn't be, and that's never happened to me. So I think that's kind of where it's at. Like, perfect example. The Chiefs and the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving this year. I don't know who Texas Tech fans are rooting for. I don't know. And I think you would get a 50-50 split on that. And I would think 50% of the fans that say the Chiefs would be Cowboys fans. I think they'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they want Patrick Mahomes to throw 8 touchdowns, but maybe Dallas wins by a field goal somehow.
Sure. And they may just be like, I don't care. I don't care if the Cowboys win as long as Pat's great. I don't care. Like, it's really weird. Like, I would assume this is how Michigan felt, almost in a way, with Brady. But
oh yeah,
it had to be. And yeah, it's wild, man. And now his fingerprints are even more so all over the athletic departments. I mean, they're going to be wearing the iced out Mahomes jerseys for the BYU game on the gridiron. So, I mean, it's crazy to not have the best quarterback of all time as an alumni, but like, I don't know, it's probably fair to say like the most talented quarterback. Difference between best and talented. But he's up there. But I'm saying that as a completely biased person, and you got your Super Bowl ring, so you're fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's top. He's definitely top 5 with already, and with many years to play. So that stock is just going to keep rising.
Yeah.
Can I get a prediction for the Illinois versus Texas Tech game before we let you go?
Yeah, I think y'all win the matchup, to be honest. I think 2 really good teams going at each other. It's a early non-con matchup. If this game was 7 games deep in the non-con, and Texas Tech had a chance to like get some of these, guys that missed the first game a little, actual action and not just one game. Okay, maybe I picked them to win, but Champaign's one of the tougher places to play in all of college basketball. Y'all are well coached, got grown men like we talked about. I don't know, and again, not an excuse here. It's going to be a great win for the Illini if they win, but I don't know how healthy Texas Tech is. JT Toppin will more than likely play, but is he 100%? I don't know. But I think the Fighting Illini probably win this game. Like, I don't know. The numbers that came to my head was like 79, 73.
Yeah, I've got Illinois. If Andre Stojakovic plays, Illinois by 5 points.
Yeah.
But if Andre Stojakovic is not available, I have Texas Tech by 7.
I think that's more than fair. Yeah. And again, it comes down to shooting. Like, if Tech has a bad shooting night, congrats. Y'all are winning by 20. I just off rip. Y'all are, winning by 20. If they have a good shooting night and they shoot 40%, they probably leave Champaign with a W.
Yeah, and I think both teams will feel good about themselves regardless of the result and say, hey, this is great for Selection Sunday and our preparedness for conference play and a unique matchup that we had to prepare for so quickly in the year. It'll prepare us for the round of 32 if we get there.
Facts. And who knows? We could see y'all in the second weekend.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't think that's out of the question.
I'll go ahead and book you for March, RC.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, shoot, let's just book it for April. Let's just do that. Yeah, I don't care.
Let's do in person in Indianapolis.
Hey, let's do it. I'm down for it. I'm down. I don't know what Indiana's famous for in terms of food or anything. Y'all are gonna have to help me out with that.
Tenderloins.
What?
Pork tenderloins, basically the size of a desk. So I used to sell in Indiana. So pork tenderloins, basically this large. On a tray.
Okay. I'm not, and this is going to be taken out of context. That's fine. We're used to the size of that kind of meat here in Texas.
You got burritos that are.
Yeah. And steak too. That's going to be clipped and taken out of context. I'm sure of it. But at the same time, like, okay. Might just have to like travel up a 32-ounce steak and see what they can do. We're not much in the pork department down here unless it's like bacon.
Yeah, pork is such a Midwest not delicacy because it's everywhere, but it is a staple of the diet here in the Midwest. Pork chops, pork tenderloins. There you go. That's Big Ten. Big Ten, big pork.
Hey, how do you think you get those big beefy linemen?
That is correct. RC Maxfield, the host of Red and Black Report. Where can people find you on social media, and where can people find your content?
Yeah, you can find me over on YouTube at the Red and Black Report, and then you can follow me over on Twitter, where if you ask my wife, I'm tweeting way too much, and she's probably right, at RCMB323.
RC, thank you so much, and enjoy covering this Illini versus Texas Tech, the Terrence Shannon Bowl. Thank you once again, RC.
Shout out to TSJ, man. All love on this side.
And this has been the Armchair Illini Podcast. Follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram at Armchair Illini. Visit armchairillini.com for the best work from Alex Chi, Kirkland Chappell, and Robbie Nardini. And then subscribe on YouTube and Substack. This has been the Armchair